I want you to myself, I can't help it. All mine. Yeah, maybe I'm selfish. You're mine, ladies, and I can't. Maybe I'm selfish. I want you to myself, I can't help it.
Touchdowns and Tangents, 85, live from the Good News radio station. Take 3. We had some technical difficulties in here, so if you were listening at 8:30-ish, our normal spot on the Good News radio station app, we apologize. Me and Kenny, my co-host, as always, we're sitting here having our usual show and petty fuckery. And, well, guess what? Nothing was getting recorded. So shout out to the homie Andrew for letting us know that, hey, nothing was getting recorded. So, yeah, it got
Andrew,
fixed.
your ass better be awake. I don't care what time it is in Boston. You better be awake right now. You better hit the chat room right now.
So shout out to Mr. Keith Good News for pulling up on us and getting it right. Everything sounds crisp, clear, and awesome. So we've learned not to cry over unrecorded podcasts.
I'm still hurt by that Taylor Ricks interview.
But yeah, KB, so go ahead and give the quick synopsis, please.
Okay, so rest in peace to the ancestor, the goddess, one of the greatest voices in just human nature, recorded, whatever, of all time. Aretha Franklin, she passed away today, 76 years young, among family and friends, Detroit native, the voice of a generation. She came up around the civil rights era.
Yeah, a real underrated part of the civil rights movement.
Stayed
because
true
they
to
kind
her
of,
people.
Exactly. And we also broke down Hard Knocks for the week about Corey Coleman getting cut and basically crying on air. Now he's stuck in Buffalo where his career is probably going to die.
Just like Kelvin Benjamin's most likely. Yeah, it's not a good look for ex-receivers on teams. And most importantly, Myles Garrett out there just abusing left tackles. Greg Robinson got totally punked out on Hard Knocks. He out here writing poetry and creative writing and then whooping people's asses and then saying, what? At 21 years old. That man is a freak of nature. Like, his Madden rating is like 88, 96 strength, 84 speed, 83 agility, and then like 96 acceleration.
And then we talked about Paxton Lynch, another bust from a few years ago, who is not only third-string quarterback, but the fans actually have a GoFundMe page to get him cut off the team.
And honestly,
he wishes he was Jake Plummer.
He honestly is just Kyle Bowler with more athleticism. He's Andrew Walter. No, Andrew Walter was nice at Madden at one point. He's not even Andrew Walter. Like, this is why you don't overhype quarterbacks from schools like Memphis or Buffalo or wherever, small schools like that. Because he's skinny, he's wiry. He never really had elite traits. And honestly, we got to start calling out John Elway because I really don't think he knows how to draft all that well. Just saying. He hit on a couple guys this year, but Cody Latimer, former Indiana receiver, bust. Shane Ray's kind of a bust. We can talk on some of their offensive linemen that haven't worked out. Jury's still out on their left tackle. But
yeah, man, we've already talked about that 3
bust.
times, so I don't want to spend too much time on it.
I just like shitting on the Broncos.
Yeah, I think we all do. But besides that, I also wanted to talk about your boy Terrelle Pryor. He got punked this week in training camp. It went viral. DJ Swearinger?
Soft DJ Swearinger.
Yeah, with the Washington Redskins, Pryor's former team.
Didn't even have his helmet on.
They were already green-lighting Terrelle Pryor headed into the joint practice.
Gruden said, I had to tell them. He said it like apparently they caught the audio. I had to tell them to not beat your ass. Pretty much.
And yeah, so Pryor caught a ball, dropped it. If you haven't seen the clip, it's pretty easy to find. I think it's on our Twitter page somewhere on there.
Fabian Monroe who was covering him.
But yeah, he caught it.
Didn't catch it.
Didn't catch it. It hit his hands. It got knocked out. And then Swanigan just came yelling at him, talking mad shit. Pryor walked up. Swanigan just literally just flinched at him. Like, not even hard. And Pryor fucking turned around looking mad scared.
Turned like he didn't want to get hit in the face or like he just it was
like
it was
for real. He got
you
2 for flinching. Like you have to get 2 for flinching.
He got to get 5 for flinching because he talked trash about the whole organization, and it's trash with the Jets. He's trash. He had the audacity to wear number 1, I think, at receiver. Or 8, whatever it was, or 2. He's just trash.
The other trash we got to talk about, the biggest trash of the week, your boy Jalen Ramsey calling out everyone, all the quarterbacks in the NFL damn near.
All of them. Whoever he didn't mention, you already know how he feels about you.
Yeah, he basically said Ben Roethlisberger is okay at best.
Antonio Brown is carrying his career. He didn't even mention the fact Le'Veon Bell. He said Odell Beckham Jr. is carrying Eli pretty much, and Eli Manning said, first he said no comment, and then he said, who? Eli, you play the Jaguars. Don't be doing that. You're interception prone. Don't be doing that. Eric Flowers is like your starting right tackle. Don't be talking trash. There's too many pass rushers on that team. Yannick Ngakoue, Dante Fowler Jr., who him and Jalen Ramsey got suspended for a week because there was a fight at practice with Ramsey, and I guess they took up for Fowler. He took up for Fowler, and some media person posted the fight, and Fowler and Ramsey pretty much just got at them online and got all over their heads. And I thought it was fair. Like, you shouldn't be posting stuff and then you don't want to take accountability for it. That's kind of part of the reason why this show got started, because we're not afraid to stand by what we say as journalists and former football players and just some real-ass cats.
Yeah, so I want to get to a little bit more of Jalen Ramsey's comments. Basically, he said Aaron Rodgers, he does not suck. He says he thinks Derek Carr is good. He said Deshaun Watson, he'll be a league MVP.
Him and Carson Wentz.
Matthew Stafford, he's straight. Phil Rivers, pretty good. Russell Wilson, good. Tyrod Taylor, better than he gets credit for. Marcus Mariota, great for their team. Nick Foles, good enough. Just had a good team. Now, Andrew Luck, he said he doesn't really think he's that good. As I said before, Roethlisberger, average at best. I think he said Jared Goff is also average.
He is.
And
I'm going to need some sound effects from you, Pete. I need pettiness. I need a bruh or a boo or something.
Yeah, well, you can't hear it, but it's going on. So
that's because you got to press that headphone icon. There you go. There you go, Pete.
Bruh.
All right. And he said Jimmy Garoppolo, all schemes. I guess you could say he's good.
He said they had like fullbacks and tight ends running out to the flat, and that's how they pretty much.
And he said Joe Flacco sucks, which he has a 23% QB rating versus
QBR or whatever.
Versus Jalen Ramsey. So
he really likes Lamar Jackson though.
So I guess pretty much it broke down all the QBs that suck versus Ramsey. He pretty much called it out.
And he didn't mention Tom Brady, did he?
And actually, no, he didn't. And actually, NFL went through and vetted all his things, and like literally all the people he said were good scored against him, and the people that didn't sucked. So yeah, he pretty much just called it like I see it.
And it was for GQ. It was for GQ magazine. And then like they were saying how his dad would be like, well, why did he say stuff like that? Then I guess his publicist and people near would be like, dog, he's your son. He's you. He's literally your son. He's just like you. That's why he said it.
I think the greatest thing is we hear so much coaches, cliches, and players speak, especially throughout training camp. Like this time when the NFL is coming back and everyone's excited about it and everybody's covering it and everybody's just saying the same damn thing. And to hear Ramsey step out of that and really just call cats out, especially as a DB, especially as an all-pro DB, like, I'm here for it, man. We need more of it. Like, that's the sort of culture that football is slowly getting away from as they slowly wussify it more.
They totally take tackling out of football. Like, literally, Shamarko Thomas got cut by the Colts because of a hit that he had in a game. A safety for the Cardinals, backup safety. He got flagged, and I think he's going to get fined. because of a hit that he had that was perfectly legal. It's just really that's why I'm glad I'm just not watching the games. I'll look at a recap. I'll look at some key stats, and I can surmise, okay, this is how the game went. But like I said, I'm still pro Kaepernick, so I'm like.
Hey, shout out to Andrew Martinez in the live chat. He said he'd rather be in Buffalo than Cleveland. I don't know about that, but I guess.
I mean, that's because he's already in Boston, so it's like, that's East Coast bias, Andrew. I mean, you getting soft on us out there?
But yeah, the other thing we forgot we left out.
Shout out to the homie though, he's a real one.
Let's back up a little bit. I'm gonna give you a second chance to do this because you did it so great earlier in the week. Shout out to X Squad affiliates. Shout out to the Barbershop Sports Talk podcast.
Shout out to Trey. Sorry we couldn't get to you tonight. Technical difficulties. We'll get you in next week.
He actually tried to call in, but it didn't go through because our whole audio was a mess earlier. But I digress because KB basically gave the unabridged autobiography of this podcast and shared some trash-ass NBA talk you can listen to.
No, the Suns are going to be a thorn in the Lakers' side.
Some decent NFL talk, but, you know, he saves us good stuff for Thursdays. So.
I have the notebook. I can read off what I said in the notebook.
But, yeah,
just
so
off the
KB,
Ravens and Khalil Mack. Don't play
why don't you tell people who've never listened to the TDT show, Touchdowns and Tangents, live here on the Good News radio station app and website, soon to be X Squad affiliates, our own channel, and everywhere you get your podcast.
Spotify, as of recent, I guess the beef is over until we get big and they have to pay us, and then it starts back up again.
KB, tell people what this podcast is like. Podcast/broadcast/show.
This experience of cultural context where brilliance meets the realness. This podcast/broadcast is like being invited to a barbecue or a cookout, and you didn't bring any food, so you're already under the gun. But you earn your stripes by like just shooting on people, holding your own, being honest, being helpful, being truthful, and really opening up. And then they eventually take you on as your own, and then the person who invited you gets roasted because they're like, "Why is he hanging out with you?" And that's what this podcast is like.
Okay, I still like mine better from earlier, but
it was better than what I said earlier. Why don't you just hit a sound effect? God damn.
All right, I'll give you mine first.
Trash ass still didn't hit a sound effect. Thank you. Thank you so much.
This podcast is like when your mom and dad are having an epic fight and you're just in the car just watching everything go down and you're slowly holding back the tears because you know your foundation is about to be rocked and this might be the very fight that ends it all.
And then 9 months later you have a little sister.
Or even the next day things are just much better and your mom and dad are all of a sudden making each other breakfast and everything just seems good and you're like, what just happened? But you don't really care because, hey, you know how to have 2 Christmases anymore. That's pretty much what this podcast is like.
Jesus.
Especially after last week when me and Kenny were at each other's throat, negative energy.
Pause.
I think one of our listeners said he really thought it was like the Beatles if we were going to break up on air. But yeah, man.
It was Helter Skelter. It was literally a Helter Skelter. And I was Paul McCartney.
But yeah, we persevere, and we're here. So, Touchdowns and Tangents, as always, a Good News radio station. So, now that we've kind of reset everything and started over from the top for the third time, pretty much, I want to talk about your college football stuff because there's a lot going on there, and nobody can summarize it quite like you can. Here on the Touchdowns and Tangents radio show, have touchdowns, have takes, have tangents, have conversations.
Context for the culture, brilliance with the realness. You know what it is.
So yeah, KB, give us a synopsis on what's been going on at Maryland.
I'm gonna give you the Reader's Digest,
as well as Ohio State if you want to get there.
The Big Ten in general, because they're having all these problems. Because I don't see anybody practicing and dying at Alabama.